The shocking truth about nuts and aging. What every senior should know. It might surprise you, but eating the wrong kind of nuts regularly could increase your risk of cardiovascular disease by as much as 48%. That's nearly half. This figure isn't pulled out of thin air. It's supported by research published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology after several years of study. And here's the most terrifying part. Some of the most common nuts sitting quietly in your kitchen cabinet may be increasing your blood pressure, worsening inflammation, blocking your arteries, and even contributing to cognitive decline, all while you think they're helping you. For seniors, this is especially concerning. As we age, our bodies become more sensitive to inflammatory triggers, toxins, and metabolic imbalances. That's why a nut that might be harmless or even helpful, actually for a 30-year-old, could be incredibly risky for someone over 65. In fact, one particular nut, which we'll discuss later, contains a toxin so harmful it can impair liver and kidney function, and even damage cognitive ability over time. Yes, the same nut many low-carb diets promote as a smart snack. But don't worry, this video is not about fear, it's about clarity. You'll find out which nuts are safe, supportive, and even protective, especially for your heart, your brain, and your joints. You'll also learn which ones you should eliminate, or at least limit, immediately. Now let's start with the nuts that do incredible good. The top 4 that every senior should consider adding to their diet. 4. Almonds, the bone-strengthening powerhouse. When it comes to supporting aging bones, almonds are one of the best foods available. Why? They're packed with calcium, which is critical because bone density decreases as we age, especially after 65. Just a quarter cup of almonds gives you around 97 milligrams of calcium, enough to significantly support bone strength when combined with other calcium-rich foods. But calcium is only part of the story. Magnesium, also found in high levels in almonds, is a mineral that acts like a delivery driver, ensuring calcium goes to your bones instead of depositing in your arteries. That's crucial because arterial calcification increases the risk of heart disease, and many seniors are unknowingly making that risk worse through poor mineral balance. In addition to helping bones and arteries, almonds are rich in vitamin E, an antioxidant that protects cells, including brain cells, from oxidative damage. According to research from Tufts University, regular almond consumption can help preserve cognitive function and may even slow memory decline in older adults. And that's not all. A serving of almonds, about 15 to 20 nuts, also delivers over 3.5 grams of fiber, which is a huge win for digestive health. Nearly 40% of seniors deal with constipation regularly, and the fiber in almonds can help regulate the gut and improve overall digestion. Tip: always opt for almonds with skins on. The skins are rich in flavonoids, which, when combined with vitamin E, make almonds twice as potent as antioxidants. Choose dry roasted or raw almonds, never the salted, oil-roasted versions, which can negate many of the benefits. But be cautious. Almonds can be a choking hazard for those with swallowing issues, so always chew thoroughly, or consider using almond butter if that's safer. 3. Walnuts, nature's brain booster. Next up are walnuts, the nut that literally looks like a brain, and for good reason. They're one of the most powerful foods for cognitive health, especially for older adults. In fact, walnuts contain the highest level of plant-based omega-3 fatty acids of any common nut. Omega-3s are essential for brain health. They support neurotransmission, reduce inflammation in neural tissues, and help keep the membranes of brain cells intact. A recent study in the Journal of Nutrition found that older adults who consumed just 1.5 ounces of walnuts daily for 8 weeks had significant improvements in processing speed and mental flexibility. Walnuts also contain polyphenolic compounds that can pass through the blood-brain barrier and act directly on inflamed or aging brain tissues. This makes them particularly effective at reducing the risk of Alzheimer's and other neurodegenerative diseases. What many people don't know is that walnuts are one of the few nuts to contain melatonin, the hormone responsible for regulating sleep. Since melatonin production drops with age, eating a few walnuts before bed can improve sleep quality. A major win for seniors struggling with insomnia or light sleep. From a cardiovascular standpoint, walnuts contain arginine, an amino acid that supports blood vessel flexibility, and their antioxidants help reduce oxidative stress, both important for lowering blood pressure and preventing heart disease. Storage tip: keep your walnuts in the refrigerator. Their delicate oils go rancid quickly when stored at room temperature. Aim for 7 to 9 halves per day and crack them yourself if you can. It's a great exercise for fine motor skills. Flavor note: don't be discouraged by the slightly bitter taste. That's actually a sign of their powerful antioxidant properties at work. 2. Pistachios, the unsung hero for blood pressure. You've probably enjoyed a handful of pistachios before, but did you know they're among the best nuts for managing blood pressure? Here's why. Pistachios are low in sodium and high in potassium, with about 285 milligrams per ounce, making them ideal for helping the kidneys excrete excess salt and maintain electrolyte balance. This mineral combo is incredibly important for people over 60, many of whom suffer from hypertension or are taking medications that affect blood pressure. A daily serving of pistachios can lower systolic blood pressure by 3 to 5 points, with no side effects unlike some medications. That's huge. Another underrated benefit? Pistachios contain lutein and zeaxanthin, carotenoids that concentrate in the retina and help prevent age-related macular degeneration, the leading cause of vision loss in seniors. Bonus: shelling pistachios helps with mindful eating. It slows you down, giving your body time to register fullness and creates a sense of calm, both beneficial for mental and physical well-being. Even the color of pistachios, green and purple, is an indication of antioxidant content. These natural pigments help reduce free radicals, the molecules responsible for accelerated aging. Ideal dose: go for 49 pistachios, about 1 ounce, per day, unsalted or lightly salted. And if you have arthritis or hand issues, look for half-open shells to make them easier to enjoy. For the 25% of older Americans with diabetes or prediabetes, pistachios offer a slow-digesting snack with 3 grams of fiber per ounce, helping to regulate blood sugar after meals. 1. Brazil nuts, the thyroid guardian. Topping our list are Brazil nuts, and the reason is simple. They're a powerhouse for the thyroid, a gland that's often overlooked in aging health but plays a massive role in energy, mood, and metabolism. Just one Brazil nut contains 96 micrograms of selenium. That's 137% of the recommended daily intake. Selenium is critical for the activation of thyroid hormone. And here's the catch. As many as 1 in 5 seniors has some form of undiagnosed thyroid dysfunction, often mistaken for normal aging. In addition to boosting thyroid function, selenium protects against oxidative stress, helps with immune regulation, and even supports the myelin sheath, the protective layer around nerves that tends to deteriorate with age. This means better reaction time, cognitive function, and motor control. Brazil nuts also contain a natural combination of fiber and oils that support gut health and relieve constipation, another frequent issue among seniors. Warning: due to their extremely high selenium content, limit yourself to 1 to 2 Brazil nuts per day. More than that can lead to selenium toxicity, which may affect hair, nails, or even your nervous system. Store them in the refrigerator and look for shelled versions to maintain freshness longer. Inflammatory trigger number 4. Peanuts, the misleading nut that can hurt your health. Let's start with the shocking truth. Peanuts aren't technically nuts. They're legumes. And that small botanical detail makes a world of difference, especially for seniors. Because unlike true nuts that grow on trees, peanuts grow underground, where they're exposed to mold and mycotoxins far more frequently. One of the most dangerous of these is aflatoxin, a toxic compound produced by mold that thrives in warm, humid environments. Why is this concerning for someone over 60? Because as we age, our liver and kidneys, which help detoxify our system, don't work quite as efficiently as they once did. That means seniors are more vulnerable to accumulating toxins, and long-term exposure to aflatoxins has been linked to liver cancer and impaired immune function. It's not just theory. Studies show that regularly consuming aflatoxin-contaminated food can be particularly hazardous for the elderly. But it doesn't end there. Even without mold, peanuts can be problematic due to their inflammatory nature. Peanuts are high in omega-6 fatty acids, which are essential in moderation, but can throw off the balance of omega-3s in the body when consumed excessively. This imbalance leads to chronic inflammation, a dangerous state that has been linked to arthritis, heart disease, and even Alzheimer's disease. And it gets worse. Many people eat peanuts in the form of peanut butter, which often contains hydrogenated oils, sugar, and excessive salt. These additives raise blood pressure, clog arteries, and further stress aging hearts. For the 63% of seniors dealing with hypertension, this is like pouring fuel on a fire. Even natural peanut butters, while better, still retain the omega-6 overload and mold contamination risk. And let's not forget the hidden danger: vitamin K. Peanuts are rich in this nutrient, which isn't bad on its own unless you're taking blood thinners like warfarin. For millions of seniors on anticoagulants, vitamin K can reduce the effectiveness of the medication, increasing the risk of blood clots or even stroke. Yet few doctors inform their patients of this interaction. You might also be surprised to learn that dry roasting peanuts, a popular preparation, creates acrylamide, a chemical that's been linked to cognitive impairment and nerve damage in long-term studies. For seniors already experiencing memory lapses or slowed cognition, this can quietly accelerate decline. So while peanuts might seem like a healthy snack, especially for those watching carbs, they're anything but ideal for an aging body. If you love the flavor, consider switching to almond or walnut butters, healthier alternatives with better fat profiles and fewer inflammatory effects. 3. Cashews. A sweet snack with a bitter side. Cashews are often considered a safe nut. They're creamy, mildly sweet, and a favorite in trail mixes and snack packs. But their reputation as a healthy nut doesn't tell the full story, especially when it comes to seniors. First off, cashews are surprisingly high in carbohydrates, about 9 grams per ounce. That's far more than most true nuts. For the nearly 75% of seniors who are diabetic or pre-diabetic, this matters. Cashews can spike blood sugar rapidly, leading to insulin resistance, energy crashes, and increased risk of type 2 diabetes complications. What's worse is that this blood sugar response often goes unnoticed because people don't associate cashews with carbs. They're treated like any other nut, when in fact, their glycemic impact is closer to that of a starchy snack. That's a serious problem for seniors trying to manage energy levels, control weight, and avoid inflammation. And there's more. Cashews are high in oxalates, naturally occurring compounds that bind with calcium and can interfere with its absorption. For seniors concerned about osteoporosis or bone fragility, this is bad news. Oxalates not only lower calcium absorption, but can also contribute to kidney stones, a painful and often recurring condition that becomes more common with age. But it's not just what's in cashews, it's what's been removed. Cashews must go through a complex industrial process to remove urushiol, a toxic resin also found in poison ivy. Though necessary for safety, this process often degrades the nut's natural nutrient profile, stripping away beneficial fats and antioxidants. And here's something most people don't know. The enzyme inhibitors in cashews can interfere with protein digestion. Seniors already face reduced stomach acid and slower digestion, so this can further prevent the body from utilizing the protein it consumes, at a stage in life when muscle preservation is critical. Add to this the fact that most commercially available cashews are oil roasted and heavily salted, and the result is a snack that seems healthy but may silently damage your heart, spike your blood pressure, and weaken your bones. If you're reaching for a handful of cashews every day, you may want to reconsider. A better choice? A small portion of walnuts or almonds. They offer fiber, protein, and brain protective fats without the sugar spikes or calcium blocking effects. Number 2. Macadamia nuts, the silent weight gain trigger. Macadamias. They're buttery, rich, and indulgent. But for seniors, they could also be quietly expanding the waistline and stressing the heart. Why? Because macadamias are the most calorically dense nut out there, over 200 calories per ounce. That's nearly 25% more than most other nuts. Now consider that metabolism slows as we age. We burn fewer calories at rest, and even a small daily surplus can lead to weight gain. But it's not just about calories. Macadamias are extremely high in saturated fat. With about 3 grams per ounce, they're one of the worst nuts for cholesterol-sensitive individuals. For seniors already managing LDL levels or taking statins, macadamias might be counterproductive. And digestion. Macadamias are so rich in fat they can strain the gallbladder, a concern for the nearly 15% of seniors with gallstones, many of whom don't even know they have them. A sudden high-fat meal can trigger discomfort, nausea, or even acute gallbladder attacks. Additionally, their dense texture poses a risk to seniors with weak teeth or dental work like crowns or implants. A simple snack could become a costly dental emergency. It's also worth noting that macadamias are expensive. That might push budget-conscious seniors to buy older discounted nuts, which are more likely to be rancid, meaning their fats have oxidized and turned inflammatory. While delicious, macadamias are best reserved for the occasional treat, not a daily snack. Pistachios or almonds provide more nutrients per calorie and support heart and bone health with fewer risks. 1. Pine nuts. The smallest nut with the biggest risks. They're tiny, they're tasty, and they might be the most dangerous nut for seniors. Pine nuts have a deceptively healthy image. After all, they're the key ingredient in pesto. But for people over 65, they come with some serious red flags. First and foremost, pine nuts interact with medications. Over 60% of adults over 65 are on multiple prescriptions, including blood pressure meds, antidepressants, and statins. Pine nuts contain compounds that may disrupt the absorption and metabolism of these drugs, either weakening their effectiveness or increasing side effects. And then there's pine mouth. A rare condition but more common in older adults, pine mouth causes a bitter metallic taste that can last for days or even weeks. Why is this a big deal? Because altered taste reduces appetite and food enjoyment, critical issues in seniors who may already struggle with eating enough or maintaining weight. Pine nuts are also high in polyunsaturated fats that oxidize easily, especially when stored improperly. This oxidation creates harmful free radicals that contribute to inflammation and cellular aging. For someone already dealing with arthritis or metabolic issues, this is like adding gasoline to the fire. Lastly, the size and texture of pine nuts make them a serious choking hazard, especially for people with dry mouth, a common side effect of many medications, or swallowing disorders. If you enjoy the flavor, try a small amount blended into sauces rather than eating them whole. Better yet, swap them out for sunflower seeds or chopped walnuts in your recipes. Let's continue our deep dive into the most surprising foods in your pantry, specifically nuts that may appear healthy on the surface but could be quietly harming you as you age. We've already seen the inflammatory risks of peanuts and the blood sugar trap hidden in cashews, but what comes next might be even more unexpected. The final verdict. By now, you've likely realized that not all nuts are created equal. While almonds, walnuts, pistachios, and Brazil nuts can support your heart, bones, and brain, others like peanuts, cashews, macadamias, and pine nuts can quietly work against your health, particularly in your golden years. That's not to say you must give up nuts entirely. On the contrary, the right types and the right amounts can be a powerful addition to your diet. But understanding the nuances, the fat content, The processing methods, the choking hazards, the drug interactions is what separates smart choices from silent threats. In the final part of this series, we'll tie everything together with practical tips, portion guidelines, safe storage techniques, and a shocking truth about a nut most people still think is healthy. You'll also learn how to build a daily nut routine that supports healthy aging without the hidden risks. Stick with us because what you eat today will determine how you move, think, and feel tomorrow. We've taken a journey through some of the most dangerous nuts seniors can consume. You've learned how peanuts, cashews, macadamias, and pine nuts, despite their popularity, can silently erode your health by spiking inflammation, disrupting medication, damaging organs, or leading to weight gain. But here's the final and perhaps most important truth. It's not just the nut itself, it's how often, how much, and how it's processed. Many seniors believe that if something is natural or plant-based, it must be healthy. But even the most innocent-looking food can become harmful when consumed without awareness. The good news is that awareness changes everything. Let's begin with the most overlooked mistake: portion size. Too often, nuts are eaten by the handful, but for seniors, even a small excess can quickly lead to problems. As we age, our metabolism slows, our digestion weakens, and our ability to process fats and sugars declines. So while younger adults might tolerate a few handfuls of roasted peanuts or a generous scoop of cashews, seniors must think differently. The same snack that once fueled you can now weigh you down. So what's the safe amount? For most nuts, a daily portion of 1 ounce is ideal. Roughly 23 almonds, 14 walnut halves, 49 pistachios, 6 to 8 Brazil nuts per week, not per day. 18 cashews, just 2 macadamias can exceed your healthy fat limit for the day. Now let's address another issue: roasting and salting. Roasted nuts may sound delicious, but the process often involves high heat, which oxidizes the healthy fats, turning them into inflammatory agents. Some manufacturers also roast nuts in low-quality oils like soybean or cottonseed oil, both of which are extremely high in omega-6 fatty acids. These are the same fats that trigger chronic inflammation and worsen arthritis, cognitive decline, and cardiovascular disease. Salt is another enemy in disguise. While salt is needed in small amounts, most seniors already consume far too much, mainly through processed snacks. A single ounce of salted peanuts or roasted cashews can contain over 200 milligrams of sodium. That may not seem like much until you realize how often we snack without checking labels. Combine this with blood pressure medications or kidney issues, and that healthy nut bowl can become a medical risk. That brings us to a shocking truth. Many nuts marketed as heart healthy are anything but when sold in bulk or packaged with flavorings like honey, chocolate, or BBQ. These flavored nuts contain added sugars, artificial colors, preservatives, and emulsifiers, all of which contribute to joint pain, inflammation, blood sugar spikes, and even gut damage. Do this instead. Always choose raw or dry roasted nuts without oils. Prefer unsalted or lightly salted options. Store nuts in airtight containers in the fridge to prevent rancidity. Use glass containers instead of plastic to avoid chemical leaching. Now let's talk about what happens when you cut back on the wrong nuts and focus on the right ones. Within a few weeks, many seniors report less joint stiffness, better digestion, reduced bloating, improved mental clarity, more stable blood pressure, weight loss, or improved weight control. These aren't miracles. They're simply the result of giving your body what it needs and removing what was silently working against you. But what about people who say, "I've eaten peanuts and cashews my whole life, and I'm fine"? The answer lies in the long game. Aging bodies have less margin for error. What was tolerable in your 30s and 40s can become toxic in your 60s and 70s. Your joints are more sensitive. Your arteries are more vulnerable. Your organs need more protection, not less. And here's another twist. Not eating nuts at all can be just as harmful. That's right. Seniors who avoid all nuts due to fear or misinformation often miss out on essential fats, fiber, protein, and vitamins. These nutrients are vital for maintaining muscle mass, energy levels, brain health, and digestion. So, what's the solution? Think of your daily nut intake as functional nutrition, not mindless snacking. You're not just eating something healthy, you're strategically fueling your body with the right tools for longevity, mobility, and clarity. Here's a sample week to guide you. Monday, 1 ounce almonds with breakfast. Tuesday, 1 tablespoon ground walnuts in a smoothie. Wednesday, 1 ounce pistachios as a midday snack. Thursday, 1 Brazil nut in the morning for thyroid support. Friday, 1 ounce almonds added to a salad. Saturday, skip nuts, focus on omega-3 rich fish. Sunday, 1 ounce of mixed walnuts and pistachios. Avoid cashews, macadamias, and pine nuts entirely unless approved by a nutritionist or physician. If you want variety, rotate in hazelnuts, pecans, or sunflower seeds, all of which are less inflammatory and gentler on digestion. Let's end with a message of empowerment. You now know more than most people do about nuts and aging, but knowledge is only the first step. What matters now is action. Start by cleaning out your pantry. Get rid of the sweetened, salted, roasted nut mixes and replace them with high-quality raw options. Educate the people around you, your spouse, children, friends, because they may be buying you foods they think are healthy without realizing the risks. And most importantly, listen to your body. If a certain nut gives you bloating, fatigue, brain fog, or aches, stop eating it. No food is worth sacrificing your quality of life. Final thought, your body is always talking. Are you listening? Whether it's swelling in the knees, morning stiffness, a foggy brain, or a restless night, your body sends signals, and the foods you eat either heal or harm. Nuts are one of the most powerful daily choices we can make, but only when chosen wisely. You don't need to fear nuts, you just need to respect the difference between what fuels you and what drains you. So, which nut are you going to replace starting today? Let us know in the comments. Have you noticed a difference in your health when you changed your snacking habits? Your story could help someone else. If this guide was helpful, hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with someone you care about. We post more tips on healthy aging, nutrition, and mobility every week. And remember, better legs, clearer mind, stronger heart, they all begin with what's on your plate. We'll see you in the next video.